Hi there, I'm John Matthews, a physician who spent over 35 years helping folks live healthier, fuller lives after 50. But today, I'm not here as the guy in a white coat or someone holding a stack of medical charts. Today, I'm just showing up as a friend, someone who's pulling up a chair next to you, ready to talk heart to heart about something many people over 60 quietly deal with, those frustrating leg cramps, especially the ones that strike at night. Have you ever been jolted awake in the middle of the night by a sudden, sharp pain tightening your calf? Like your own body is sending you a harsh wake-up call? It's not just pain, it's anxiety. It's that awful feeling of being squeezed and helpless in the dark, when all you really want is a peaceful night's rest. I've heard hundreds of stories like this from my patients over the years, and every time it touches me, because something as simple and natural as sleep, something we all took for granted when we were younger, can suddenly feel like a luxury as we grow older. But you know what? Sometimes the answer to those frustrating cramps doesn't come from a prescription or a complicated medical procedure. Sometimes it's as simple as a glass of water. A small habit, a simple change that can make a world of difference. Today, I want to tell you about a gift from nature. Something you might find at your local market or even right in your own kitchen. Fresh coconut water. I remember one of my patients, Eleanor, 66 years old, living in sunny Arizona, where the heat lingers nearly all year long. She loved taking early morning walks in the park, but after each walk, her legs would often feel sore, and sometimes, out of nowhere, a leg cramp would hit so hard she had to stop in her tracks. One time, she told me, I was arranging flowers at home and suddenly had to grab my leg and drop to the floor. It tightened so much I felt like a string had been pulled way too hard. Her daughter, who works in public health, brought her a bottle of cool, refreshing coconut water one day. Not an electrolyte drink full of sugar, not a sports drink, just plain, natural coconut water. After about a week of drinking one small glass of coconut water each morning, Eleanor noticed something surprising. The cramps after her walks began to fade away. She told me with a smile, I never imagined just swapping my regular water for coconut water could calm my legs down like that. You see, coconut water is one of the most naturally electrolyte-rich drinks you can enjoy daily, without worrying about added sugars or stimulants. One 8-ounce glass, about 240 mils, of fresh coconut water can contain up to 600 milligrams of potassium. That's more than a banana. And along with potassium, it also offers magnesium, sodium, and a touch of calcium. All essential minerals that help your muscles work smoothly and stay in balance. Think of it this way. Muscles don't move on muscle alone. They need tiny electrical signals passing through your cells. And those signals rely on minerals to keep firing correctly. If you're low on potassium, your muscles may contract too tightly. Low on magnesium, they may struggle to relax. Missing calcium? The signals telling your muscles what to do might get scrambled. Coconut water doesn't just give you one mineral, it provides a gentle, well-rounded mix, like nature's own electrolyte blend. I often tell my patients, especially those who enjoy gardening, morning walks, or live in hot, dry climates, to try drinking one small glass of coconut water in the morning or after light activity. You don't need much, just a little each day. And if possible, choose pure coconut water with no added sugar or preservatives. Skip the overly sweet canned versions. They may spike your blood sugar without you even noticing. Now, if you have kidney issues or have been told to limit potassium, I always say this first. Talk to your doctor. Coconut water is wonderful, but even good things need to be the right fit in the right amount. Everybody is different, like its own unique symphony. There's no one-size-fits-all. You know, after 60, we're not chasing big changes anymore. We're looking for small, steady improvements. A morning that doesn't begin with a painful muscle spasm. A night where you sleep through without being jolted awake by a cramp. And sometimes, the answer lies in something as small as a single choice. A glass of water, a bite of the right food, a little kindness toward your body. If someone were to ask me, where should I start? I wouldn't say, you have to change your whole diet, or you need medication right now. I'd say start with one glass of coconut water in the morning. Simple, gentle, full of care. Are you ready to give it a try? If coconut water is like a cool, refreshing sip that gently wakes up your body in the morning, Then dark leafy greens are the steady friend, quietly walking with us through every meal, every day, every year. But sadly, many older adults have forgotten about this loyal friend or only see them now and then on their plate. I once asked a patient, "Did you have any vegetables with your lunch today?" She smiled and said, "Of course, doctor. I had a couple slices of tomato and a small piece of cucumber in my sandwich." I smiled back and gently replied, "Well, that's more like saying a quick hello to your veggies, but your body is craving a real, meaningful conversation." Have you ever felt like your legs stiffened up after sitting for too long? Or woken up in the morning with a strange tingling in your legs, like pins and needles, making you hesitate before standing? Those signs aren't always just age. Sometimes they're your body quietly whispering, "I'm low on calcium. I'm low on magnesium. I'm waiting for a little green on your plate." As a physician, here's what I often say. Dark leafy greens, like spinach, kale, bok choy, and collard greens, are some of the best foods you can eat after 60. Why? Because they're like a natural mineral bank, packed with calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K. The powerful trio that helps your muscles contract properly, your bones stay strong, and your blood flow stay smooth and steady. Just 1 cup of cooked greens, about 180 grams, can give you up to 250 milligrams of calcium and nearly 160 milligrams of magnesium. That's an impressive number, especially when you consider that most older adults in the US are magnesium deficient and don't even know it. And there's more. Vitamin K helps your body guide calcium to the right places, into your bones, rather than building up in your blood vessels. That's especially important for anyone taking blood thinners or dealing with heart conditions. I remember one patient, Nancy, 72 years old, from Oregon. She was what you'd call a true vegetable skeptic. For most of her life, she believed meat gives you strength. But when leg cramps started waking her up every single morning, she began to wonder, maybe I'm missing something. With a little encouragement from her daughter, who's a nurse, Nancy gave it a try. A handful of spinach in her morning eggs, a bowl of kale soup for lunch, and a bit of bok choy salad with dinner. After 3 weeks, she came back to my office with a clear, glowing look in her eyes. "No more cramps in the morning," she said. "And the funny thing is, I feel lighter." I often tell my patients, you don't have to eat like an Olympic athlete. Just aim for 1 serving of leafy greens, about the size of your palm, at each meal. That's a great start. You can steam them, stir-fry them lightly in olive oil, toss them in soups, or enjoy them as a salad. If raw veggies are hard to digest, try steaming or sautéing instead. And for better calcium absorption, pair your greens with foods rich in vitamin C, like bell peppers, tomatoes, or even a splash of lemon juice. Leafy greens aren't some kind of miracle drug, but they are a symbol of something steady and lasting, like trees growing slowly and sturdily with time. After 60, we're not chasing speed anymore. We're moving slower, with more intention, with more care. And greens, humble, familiar greens, are a friend that understands that pace. A friend that helps our body stay balanced, calm, and quietly nourished. So today, if you're opening your fridge or planning your next meal, I just want to whisper a small reminder. Don't forget your green friend, because sometimes what we're missing isn't another pill. It's a simple, honest plate of vegetables. We just talked about leafy greens, the friendly companion at your dinner table. And now I'd like to invite you to pause for a moment and imagine something soft, creamy, and gentle, like a hug for your muscles. Yes, I'm talking about the avocado. I know, for many people, avocados are seen as young people's food, something trendy, smeared on toast, or tossed into smoothies with bananas. But today, I'd love for you to see avocados through a new lens, the eyes of someone who's lived more than half a lifetime and is beginning to listen to their body in a more thoughtful way. Have you ever felt like your legs were heavy as stone by late afternoon? Like every step required you to command muscles that used to move with ease? Or maybe you've been surprised by a cramp while tying your shoes or simply stretching out on the couch. If so, I want you to know this. Muscles don't just need movement. They need fat, but not just any fat. Avocados are rich in what I like to call kind fats, monounsaturated fats that help soften your blood vessels, nourish your muscle tissue, and soothe the low-grade inflammation that's common as we age. Even better, avocados are packed with potassium, gram for gram, even more than bananas. And as you may already know, potassium is key to helping muscles contract and relax smoothly, reducing the chance of sudden spasms. They're also a good source of magnesium, which relaxes muscles, and vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that helps protect your muscle fibers from age-related damage. That's why I often tell my patients, avocados are one of those rare fruits that actually care about your age. I remember a patient named Mr. Martin, 71, from Santa Barbara. He's a retired engineer who loves his morning walks along the beach. But about a year ago, he started noticing tightness in his calves after just a few hundred steps. It wasn't from inactivity. His body was simply hungry for something it didn't know it was missing. After a few gentle conversations and some simple blood work, I suggested he start adding half an avocado to his lunch each day, maybe tossed into salad or spread on whole grain toast. 3 weeks later, he came back to my office smiling. "Doctor," he said, "I think my legs are being oiled from the inside." Now, if you're wondering, how should I eat avocado? Here are a few gentle suggestions. Half an avocado a day is just right. Not too much, not too little. Add it to your salad, spread it on toast, or blend it into a smoothie with a splash of almond milk or plain yogurt. If you're managing diabetes, pair avocado with protein, like a boiled egg or some grilled chicken, to help stabilize your blood sugar. And here's one more important note. Choose ripe avocados. Soft but not mushy, no bruises or dark spots. That's when the nutrients are at their peak, ready to love your body from the inside out. Avocados don't shout for attention. They're not spicy, flashy, or addictive like sugar or salt. But in that quiet softness lies a kind of strength, a silent source of nourishment that helps your legs stay steady, your muscles stop trembling in the night, and your whole rhythm of life feel just a little gentler. You see, sometimes what helps us heal isn't something powerful, it's something gentle, and the avocado is one of those gentle things. If the avocado is nature's gentle touch, then salmon is like a warm stream flowing through tired muscles, soothing them after years of hard work. Salmon isn't flashy. It's not the star of every commercial or magazine spread, but for me, and for the hundreds of older patients I've cared for, salmon is a quiet but powerful gift to the legs that have carried us through so much of life. I once asked one of my patients, Mr. Howard, 68, a retired Marine who still takes morning walks, "How do your legs feel in winter?" He chuckled and said, "Feels like someone locked them up. Every step I've got to plead with them to lift." That response, part humor, part frustration, speaks to something many people don't realize. Poor circulation, reduced blood flow to the muscles, and a lack of anti-inflammatory nutrients are often behind that creeping stiffness, numbness, and cramping that becomes more common with age. Salmon, especially fresh or properly frozen, is one of the best sources of magnesium, which helps muscles relax and recover after movement. A 100-gram serving of grilled salmon provides nearly 30 milligrams of magnesium. Now you might think that's not a huge number, but here's the magic. Magnesium in salmon doesn't travel alone. It comes hand in hand with omega-3, one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory fats known to science. Picture your muscles like a vine. When they're lacking nutrients, they curl up, stiffen, and tangle. But when nourished with omega-3 and magnesium, they stretch out, move freely, and breathe again. That's what salmon is quietly doing for thousands of older adults every single day. I remember a patient named Linda, 70 years old, living in Seattle. The damp, chilly climate there often triggered nighttime leg cramps, even if she had just taken a short walk around the house. Her son, a young doctor, called me concerned. "My mom's afraid to sleep now. She never knows when her legs are going to cramp." I gently suggested, try replacing red meat at dinner with grilled salmon. 3 times a week, and remind her to stay hydrated and to gently stretch her legs before bed. 3 weeks later, Linda called me herself. "Doctor, I'm starting to enjoy my evenings again. No more cramps waking me up. I sleep better, and my legs feel loose in the morning." Salmon isn't hard to prepare, and it doesn't need to be complicated. Lightly grill 3.5 to 4 ounces with olive oil and sprinkle with herbs. Pan-sear it and serve with sweet potatoes or sautéed spinach. Or make a chilled salmon salad with avocado, tomatoes, and sprouts. Eating it 2 to 3 times a week is enough to feel the difference. And try to choose fresh salmon, not the overly salted canned kind. Most importantly, if you're on blood thinners or have a history of gout, check with your doctor before making it a regular part of your diet. One more tip: avoid deep frying. High heat destroys a good portion of the omega-3s, the very soul of the salmon. After more than 3 decades as a doctor for older adults, I've learned this. The right food doesn't just feed the body, it comforts the soul of aging. Salmon is one of those foods. It doesn't just fill your stomach, it calms your muscles, supports smooth blood flow, and gives rest to legs that have carried you through decades of life. Think back to the last time you had a piece of salmon, not just to feel full, but to offer kindness to your body. Growing older doesn't mean doing more. It means listening more. And sometimes what your body needs is just one good, honest meal of salmon. We just talked about salmon, a gift from the ocean that nourishes tired muscles. But you don't always need an oven, a skillet, or fancy seasonings to care for your legs. Sometimes all it takes is a soft, golden fruit, sweet like a grandchild's smile. Yes, I'm talking about the humble banana. Have you ever wondered why bananas are found in almost every household? From rural farms to city apartments, from well-off families to those living simply? I believe there's a deeper reason. Because bananas are loyal friends to the human body, especially after the age of 60. Did you know that bananas are one of the most easily absorbed natural sources of potassium? One medium banana contains around 400 to 450 milligrams of potassium, nearly 10% of an adult's daily requirement. Potassium acts like the body's light switch operator, helping nerve signals and muscle contractions run smoothly and in sync. When potassium is low, which is common in older adults who eat fewer vegetables, take diuretics, or don't stay well hydrated, muscles can rebel with sudden nighttime cramps. But bananas don't just offer potassium. They also contain magnesium and vitamin B6, both of which help relax the nervous system and ease muscle tension in a gentle, natural way. That's why I often recommend bananas in the morning or about 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. I remember a patient named Mr. Thomas, 68, living in Florida. He frequently experienced cramps during morning walks and would often wake up in the middle of the night with stabbing pain in his calves. He once told me, "Doctor, I've started to fear sleep." His daughter, a nurse, called me and asked, "Is there a gentle solution? Dad doesn't want to take more pills." I said, "Try something simple. 1 banana before bed with a glass of water." 2 weeks later, he called me back, and his voice was noticeably brighter. "Doctor, I slept straight through. Woke up feeling like my legs were young again. If you're not used to eating bananas, don't worry. It's as easy as peeling one." Enjoy one ripe, soft banana in the morning or before bedtime. Mix it into yogurt, stir it into warm oatmeal, or blend it with a little nut milk for a soothing evening smoothie. Avoid green bananas as they may cause bloating, especially if you have a sensitive digestive system. If you have diabetes, pair the banana with protein or healthy fats like walnuts or unsweetened yogurt to help stabilize your blood sugar. And if you have kidney problems, especially chronic kidney disease, be sure to consult your doctor before eating bananas regularly. When the kidneys are weak, potassium can build up in the blood and become dangerous. Bananas aren't a superfood in glossy magazines, but they are the fruit of kindness. Simple, gentle, and always ready to show up when we need them. You know, after years of working with older adults, I've learned something. The deepest healing often doesn't come from a prescription. It comes from a simple, repeated habit, like eating 1 banana a day. Chances are you already have bananas in your kitchen. So today, if you pick one up, I hope you don't just see it as a piece of fruit. I hope you see it as a small promise to your legs, a quiet way of saying you care, you're nourishing them, and you're loving them, day by day. After a long day, you turn off the lights, pull the blanket up, and hope for a peaceful night's sleep. But then, out of nowhere, your calf suddenly tightens. A cramp strikes without warning, jolting you upright, wincing, massaging, and eventually lying back down, wide awake. If you've ever experienced that, I understand. Many people over 60 have shared similar stories with me. Restless nights, disrupted sleep, and aching legs. And when I ask them, what do you usually drink before going to bed? The most common answer is nothing. And that right there might be why your sleep feels so fragile. Today, I want you to picture a simple image. A warm glass of milk in your hand, at night in a quiet kitchen. Not for a child, but for you, someone who is caring for a body that has journeyed through many years. You see, milk is one of the most easily absorbed sources of calcium for older adults. One 8-ounce glass, about 240 milliliters, can provide up to 300 milligrams of calcium. That's nearly 30% of your daily needs. And it's not just calcium. Milk also contains vitamin D, which helps your body absorb calcium more effectively. Calcium isn't just for strong bones. It also plays a key role in nerve signaling and muscle contraction. When calcium levels in your blood drop, especially at night, muscles are more likely to spasm uncontrollably. That's where those nighttime cramps come from. Not always from walking too much, but from a quiet calcium deficiency. What's more, milk contains an amino acid called tryptophan, which helps your brain produce melatonin and serotonin, two natural compounds that help you relax and fall asleep. I remember Mr. Jerry, 73 years old, living in Iowa. He was a very healthy man, tending to his garden, taking no medications, but he would often get cramps while climbing stairs or even turning in bed. Maybe I'm not active enough, he guessed, but when I looked at his diet, I noticed one thing: almost no calcium. So I gently suggested, why not try a glass of low-fat milk at night? Just 3 weeks later, he told me, my legs don't bother me anymore at night. I've been sleeping through the night for the first time in years. If you don't digest cow's milk well, that's okay. Today, there are many calcium-fortified plant-based milk options. Almond milk, soy milk, oat milk. Just make sure to choose one that is fortified, meaning it contains at least 300 milligrams of calcium per cup and is unsweetened. Avoid sweetened nut milks, as they can affect your blood sugar levels. Drinking a warm glass before bedtime is ideal. Not cold, not too filling. Just enough to gently warm your stomach and relax your mind. If you're taking diuretics, osteoporosis medication, or have a history of kidney stones, be sure to consult your doctor about how much calcium is right for you. Milk, in all its simplicity, isn't just a food. It's a ritual of self-care. When you hold that glass of milk each night, it's not a sign of aging. It's a sign that you're learning to listen to your body, something youth often forget. Growing older isn't the end. It's the beginning of a slower, more mindful way of living. And every glass of milk you drink is a gentle way of telling your body, I'm here, I'm taking care of you. We just talked about milk, that warm, comforting glass at the end of the day. Now, I'd like you to imagine a simple lunch with a warm, earthy scented sweet potato, no heavy seasoning, no frying, just a tender bite of sweet, naturally flavored sweet potato. And yet, it could make a real difference for your legs. I like to call sweet potatoes the kind root. They're not flashy, they're not complicated, but they quietly support your body, especially after 60. Have you ever felt your legs getting weaker by the end of the day? Not exactly painful, but heavy, like your muscles are tired, yet your blood hasn't caught up. Most people assume that's just normal fatigue, but in many cases, it's a subtle sign of potassium deficiency, a mineral essential for muscle movement and nourishment. And here's the wonderful part. Sweet potatoes, that humble, down-to-earth root, are one of the richest natural sources of potassium. A medium sweet potato, about 130 grams, contains 540 to 560 milligrams of potassium. That's even more than a banana. Potassium helps keep your body's electrical signals running smoothly, from your heart to your muscles. When potassium is low, your muscles become more reactive, more prone to cramping, especially at night or after long periods of rest. But sweet potatoes offer more than potassium. They're rich in soluble fiber, which helps stabilize blood sugar and prevent that drained, sluggish feeling after meals. They also contain beta-carotene, a precursor to vitamin A, which supports blood flow and helps calm the silent inflammation that often lingers in joints and soft tissues as we age. I remember a patient named Mr. Henry, 69, living in Georgia. He wasn't a fast food junkie, but he did love his white bread sandwiches. Every lunch, he'd throw some deli meat between two slices of bread and call it a light meal. But after retiring, he started feeling numbness in his calves when sitting for long stretches, and occasionally had cramps while watching TV in the evening. I asked, "What do you eat for lunch?" He told me. I suggested, "Try swapping the bread for a steamed sweet potato. Just keep it simple." A month later, he returned with a wide smile. "Doc, my legs don't scream at me every night anymore. And weirdly enough, sweet potatoes make me feel calm." You don't need to eat sweet potatoes every day, but if you add one to your lunch or afternoon meal 2 to 3 times a week, you may notice a difference. Steam, roast, or boil, all are great. Pair them with leafy greens or a little protein like chicken breast or a boiled egg for a balanced meal. Avoid eating sweet potatoes late at night. While they're healthy, their starch can cause bloating for those with sensitive digestion. If you have diabetes, eat sweet potatoes alongside protein or healthy fats to slow sugar absorption. Here's something special. If you're using clean organic sweet potatoes, leave the skin on. That's where much of the fiber and nutrients live. Sweet potatoes are roots, and after 60, we all need a little more rootedness. Not just in our food, but in our way of living. Simple, steady, and nourishing from the inside out. You don't need loud marketing claims. Just one soft, sweet potato, a timely meal, and a body that's heard and cared for each day. And if someone ever asks you, "What did you do to stop those leg cramps?" you might smile and say, "I just swapped my bread for a sweet potato and started listening to my body a little more." After a nourishing meal of leafy greens, salmon, or sweet potato, I invite you to look down at your snack plate. Just a small dish. No cookies, no candy, only a few almonds. They're tiny, unassuming, and maybe you've only ever thought of them as a healthy little snack. But to me, and to many of my patients over 60, almonds are like miniature warriors, quietly fighting to protect your muscles, blood vessels, and even your heart health. Have you ever noticed your arms or legs feeling a little weaker, even though you've been eating regularly? Or felt fatigue without a clear reason, maybe even needing to stop after just a few steps because your legs don't seem to cooperate? One hidden reason might be a magnesium deficiency, a mineral your body quietly relies on every day, yet one that's easy to overlook, especially after middle age. And almonds are one of nature's richest sources of both magnesium and healthy fats. Just 30 grams of almonds, about 20 to 25 nuts, gives you nearly 80 milligrams of magnesium, close to 20% of your recommended daily intake. So what does magnesium do? It helps prevent sudden muscle cramps, keeps your heartbeat steady, and supports healthy blood pressure. It can also improve sleep quality and reduce nighttime symptoms like numbness, twitching, and leg discomfort that many people over 60 experience. But almonds offer more than magnesium. They're also packed with vitamin E, calcium, and monounsaturated fats, the kind that support heart health, soften blood vessel walls, and improve circulation to your arms and legs. I remember Mrs. Clara, 74, a former music teacher. She had a cabinet full of instruments, a little garden, and a quiet worry. "I can't play the piano like I used to. My fingers twitch and tremble when I press the keys." She had no serious medical conditions, but her magnesium levels were clearly low. I gently advised, "Eat a handful of almonds each day. No big changes needed." 3 weeks later, she returned with a sparkle in her eyes. "Doctor, my hands feel smoother now, like a song with no wrong notes." Here are some gentle tips for enjoying almonds. Eat 10 to 15 almonds a day, either in the late afternoon or early morning. Use them as a snack instead of sweets, or sprinkle them on yogurt, oatmeal, or salads. Worried they're too hard? Soak them for 4 to 6 hours before eating. It makes them easier to digest and boosts nutrient absorption. For people with diabetes, almonds are a wonderful option. They help stabilize blood sugar levels after meals. However, don't overdo it. As healthy as almonds are, they're also calorie dense. Just one small handful a day is enough to wake up the muscles that have gone quiet. Growing older teaches us something powerful. You don't need big things to make a big difference. Small, simple things, done consistently, can create meaningful, lasting change. Almonds may be no bigger than the tip of your finger, but they can help you keep a steady hand, a strong calf, and a calm, balanced heartbeat, even in the stillness of night. So today, if you're putting together a little snack plate, don't forget that humble handful of almonds. It's not a grand gesture, but it is a quiet promise you make to your body, each and every day. After talking about almonds, those tiny warriors that protect the heart and muscles, today I'd like to introduce you to another seed. It's one that's often tossed aside after Halloween, but it's actually a hidden treasure for anyone over 60, pumpkin seeds. Have you ever tried them? Small, lightly crunchy, green seeds tucked inside the tough shell of a pumpkin. They're not flashy. They don't get the attention that oats or chia seeds do, but perhaps that's what makes them so special. Humble, yet incredibly powerful. I often tell my patients, after 60, your body doesn't need a lot, but it does need enough, and it needs it consistently. And two of the things your body needs regularly are magnesium and zinc. Pumpkin seeds happen to be one of the best plant-based sources of both. Just 2 tablespoons, about 30 grams, contain nearly 150 milligrams of magnesium. That's close to 40% of the daily recommended intake for older adults. What does magnesium do? As I've mentioned throughout this video series, it helps your muscles relax, supports healthy muscle contractions, and calms your nervous system after a long day of movement. Pumpkin seeds are also rich in zinc, a mineral that's often overlooked, but plays a vital role in reducing inflammation, healing muscle tissue, and boosting your immune system, something many people over 60 struggle with. On top of that, pumpkin seeds are full of natural antioxidants like vitamin E and manganese, which protect your muscle cells from free radical damage, a hidden cause behind fatigue, tremors, and sudden cramps. I remember Mrs. Sophie, 70, living in Vermont, where the winters are long and cold. She often experienced tightness in her calves when sitting by the window reading. It feels like a string pulling tight all of a sudden, she told me. I didn't prescribe her any medication. I simply offered a small suggestion. Try replacing your afternoon cookies with a small handful of lightly roasted pumpkin seeds each day. 2 weeks later, she sent me a handwritten postcard, something rare in this digital age. It read, "My legs no longer cramp when I sit, and I enjoy the feeling of chewing each seed. It's like savoring calmness." There are many gentle ways to enjoy pumpkin seeds. Eat them on their own as a light snack between meals. Sprinkle them on salads, oatmeal, or plain yogurt. Lightly roast with a pinch of sea salt, or no salt at all if you're watching your blood pressure. Grind them into a powder and stir into soups or porridge, a natural plant-based protein boost. Just 1 to 2 tablespoons a day is enough to quietly and steadily support your muscles. Pumpkin seeds are the perfect reminder of a truth in both medicine and life. You don't need big things to create big change. It's the small, consistent efforts that make all the difference. They're smaller than your pinky tip, but if you make space for them in your diet, you might notice your legs feel steadier, your sleep comes easier, and those anxious thoughts about sudden cramps slowly fade away. So today, if you're standing in front of your snack shelf, I hope you see a little jar of pumpkin seeds and smile, because you've just chosen something small, but full of love. We've just gone through 9 familiar foods together, from a perfectly ripe banana to a small handful of almonds or pumpkin seeds. You've probably seen these foods hundreds of times in your life, but maybe never quite like this, as quiet companions on your journey toward healthy aging. You see, taking care of your health after 50 doesn't have to be complicated. It's about small daily choices and learning to listen to your body. You don't need to eat all 9 of these every day. Just pick 3 to 4 of them and rotate them gently throughout your week. A bit of leafy greens with your lunch, a warm glass of milk before bed, a sweet potato instead of white bread, a handful of almonds with your afternoon tea, a simple banana to start your morning. These small choices, they're how you honor the feet that have carried you through life. And if you're still here with me at this final minute, it means you're choosing to love yourself. And that's something truly beautiful. Please like this video, share it with your loved ones, and subscribe to the channel to keep walking with me on this journey of vibrant life after 50. And don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified when new videos are out. I'm Dr. John Matthews. Thank you for listening and being here. See you in the next video with stronger steps and a peaceful heart.